I mean, the best chance, or one of the better chances that they have. They find themselves here, obviously, on Chalet, a great map for them, and an average to poor map for G2. So,
Milo's just looking at us with his new haircut. Have we given you a compliment yet?
No, we didn't say
you are.
it.
Nice new haircut.
He's doing his teacher stuff again. I like the when he was talking about whatever analogy he started all of that with. Were you the kind of kid that would always hand in your homework?
I never did it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the teachers didn't care because I always had good grades.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I was the kind of kid that got in a lot of trouble for talking. If you can believe that. But if you can believe I was a class clown.
I wouldn't believe that.
No.
Totally.
Well, look at me now. Teachers that said talking a lot on video games wouldn't get me anywhere.
Funnily enough, my teachers did say playing video games doesn't get you anywhere either.
Look at us now. Teachers, educators, just shows video games more important than Valkyrie, Goyo.
This is no legal advice, by the way.
Twitch have been the four that have been removed for this showdown here. A second Twitch ban today.
Yes.
Another one of those plays against the hefty utility points.
Jess is in absolute shambles right now after our advice.
Citizen, by the
Citizen? His new name. He's been renamed. He's a citizen now instead of a citizen. Either way, Chalet is underway. G2 on their attacks. And let's see how that win from the last Playday will be helping them. Heroic still trying to look to find that success because you just feel it coming. It is up in the air somewhere, but time is also running out, right? It's like T1 was with APAC North. Like at some point they are going to get that win that they need. Of course, they aren't completely winless. Let's just put that up, right?
No.
It always feels like the win could be, like another win could be coming in to hold them in a relegation fight. And it's just they do get close every now and then, but then they're also not close at the same time.
It's close, but as you said, not close enough. And I think that's the main sort of spiel, because once upon a time it was seasonals. We'd see a lot more relegation, we'd see a lot more fight and a lot of back and forth.
Yep.
No more do we have those rules. It is a year-long season. It is a long time to be out of Tier 1. It's a long time for not only the players, it's a long time for the orgs. Luckily in EU we have a very solid Tier 2 that bleeds into a Tier 3 zone, and obviously that all kicks into gear very soon. So there is still eyes, there are still opportunities, but still, for everything that you've played for everything that you've worked for years worth of effort, and sure, it's been a struggle, to now have a definitive game to say this is one where it will directly result in something that will play for the next year of our lives. There's a lot on the line.
There's definitely a lot on the line, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on these players as well. And you know, it does happen very often that as soon as that pressure is alleviated, suddenly they play out of their minds. And you're like, where was this team beforehand? And unfortunately, you know, that time it's already too late. Of course, it's not that far yet. It's Heroic still an opportunity to fight for the spots. Not to go up to EUL 2022, but to play the relegation tournament rather than straight out being kicked out of your spots. And the teams they have after this are, well, Na'Vi and Kavana, so it's not the two easiest teams. That means they have 3 very tough matches ahead of them, which they all need to win, and Secret need to lose theirs as well for it all to happen. But, you know, you need to start now. If you slip now, then none of those other matches really matter anymore.
Well, the device is going dark. Stop those ADSs, the pop and the explosives, drop the shield as well. It was very well played there, and obviously with Thatcher on the board, the swap and the removal of those 2 aggressive operators means some of these holds, if you get creative with the Thatcher, might be easier to dig through. There is one such example, and it's actually Virtue that gets the opener there. Shootgree gets taken off the board. Blaz quickly followed up by Yonka as they go for a hefty push across the top. They're clearing the caverns that are built around the sides of the library. They're making sure that they have the full read on everybody in every book that's inside. One more player needs to be disheveled, and they were pushed down by the drone. Puts them into a flat fight with a vertical control and a minute left.
There's a bit of verticality here for Heroic to try and play with, but it's not going to be much. And Citizen, well, he gets the opportunity to rotate back out towards the fireplace, whereas the rest of Heroic are looking to dig themselves in even deeper into the right positions to make sure that, you know, they are in these safe opportunities to go for these crossfires and potentially turn this round around. But as the pressure seems to be arising and, you know, the bar door soon will be breached by these G2 members, it can all be over soon.
Voy up close and personal with 20 seconds, throwing off the mantle of those flashes and doesn't find the first. Yonka gets the swing and gets the opener. Thunder from in the small box gets the cross on the mudroom drop. Suddenly, Chaoxis has found one, but he's gone down, only 10 seconds. Citizen is looking for the idea on where Thunder may be as Virtue tries to stick the plant on the far side. Can't quite get the angle and not quite sure where things are going, so goes to try and potentially smoke the corridor and pass it. That'll give an idea as to where he is. He is boxed in, although Citizen is still looking. The fire is more of a passive hold. For a second, G2 take the first round with a bit of a storm.
There you have it. First round on the board. G2 started off strong here, and they are in need of it. It was mentioned before as well, they might not make SI. They might not make the European League finals, and they, well, aren't looking too strong for the Major. Of course, Major is still possible. Same goes for the European League finals.
He's living up to his name. He's eating.
He's eating?
What's he eating?
Oh, let's see. Can we... it's like he heard it. He's laughing now, you see.
Are you eating?
He's
Hungry?
a bit shy. Pasta?
It's spaghetti.
Spaghetti, all right. We managed to find out what he was eating.
He's eating spaghetti.
Spaghetti and meatballs, according to medics.
He's trying to, I guess, get in the Sweden mindset. Can they still fight for a major
I mean, he
spot?
was also the one that... They can. Of course they can, actually. There is still going to be that opportunity.
Give me the numbers as we talk about the fact that
I don't have the numbers right now.
A, hungry, living up to his name, and B, potentially eating spaghetti and meatballs.
But let's just put it like this. G2, if they win this, they go to 10 points. They play Empire next week, who are on 13. So if G2 win from that, suddenly they're on 13 as well. They take the head-to-head over them, and then they face BDS in the very final Playday.
Okay, it's not the easiest.
It's not the easiest.
Not the easiest.
Just like Heroic's journey to potentially have the relegation match. Not the easiest. I think their focus is going to be more on the European League final, so they can compete to win that for a second time in a row.
Yeah.
And that is potentially too late. I'm not quite sure. I'm not an admin. Either way, yeah, that doesn't matter, Citizen. It depends on when you request it.
Yeah, I think it... I mean, I guess it's one of those things. We're not admins.
No, we're not.
But the admins maybe made a decision.
It seems like it.
Seems like it. I guess potentially if the player couldn't call that they had disconnected during prep because their entire rig lagged out, maybe
there is an opportunity in that case, maybe. Yes.
Maybe. That's the only thing
I have no clue, but we are going for a rehost.
I can't read. I didn't read the rule book. There's a lot of words in there, but I'm sure that I would hope the
very
admins
capable
know them
admins
very well.
name, for example, Coppet.
Well, Coppet and capable is two words that I don't know if I'd put together, but Lesto.
Lesto, indeed. He's Dutch.
Lesto's capable.
He's actually Dutch.
Is it because he's Dutch that he's capable?
I would like to say yes.
Okay. Then I'll let you say yes. Hey, look at this cool camera. If you're new to the players, the team on the left is G2. The team on the right is Heroic.
We've got Big Virtue and Big Voy right now.
Big Virtue, Big Voy. This is actually to scale.
Yeah, this is scaled indeed. People in Australia are just bigger, except for Jess.
Apart from Jess.
Yeah.
That's why Jess moved over here. I guess Virtue also.
He also moved over here.
Maybe.
But the shrink didn't come in yet. Like,
is Hungry finished? Has he finished eating?
I don't know. I mean, this would be the perfect time to eat if you're in a tactical timeout.
You can tell that Yonka disconnected, or he's just very good at staring competitions.
Maybe he's doing a staring competition.
It is very intense.
Who's he staring with? Let's see. Is there anybody that's staring into their camera?
No. Nobody can match that stare.
No, they already gave up.
Now, actually.
Oh. Yeah, it's Virtue and Yonka. Who's going to be winning this epic battle for the ages?
Staring contest. Okay.
Virtue lost. Yonka won.
Yonka won, Virtue blank.
Well played.
Well played.
Bartosz, give him the trophy.
If you're all at home, I hope you're also having a staring contest with Yonka. Put it in chat if you...
Yeah, put a 1 in chat.
Because we don't have cameras on you guys. You'll just have to be honest whether you beat or get beat by Yonka.
But if you put a 1 in chat,
if somebody has kept their eyes open for this whole rehost until we get in,
Imagine if it just starts moving again right as we get in.
And he blinks. There's nothing that we can reward you if you don't blink, but it would be impressive. We'd be impressed by you. You'd have a little bit of our respect. Not that it's worth much, but you would. We're in a rehost.
We're in a rehost, yes, actually. We've just had one round.
It was a quick round.
It was a quick round. G2 managed to obliterate the roamers in Heroic. I think that's the right word.
I mean, it's a very powerful word, and it was pretty true, too. The use of the Thatcher to sort of drive the top of the stairs. If you're unfamiliar with how that attack comes together, there's pretty much 2 power positions on the second floor that you need to lock off first. It's behind the chimney, on the top of the rafters, on the walkway, at the same time as sort of putting the pressure onto the top of the stairs. One cannot truly really exist without the other. You need both positions to have the player inside, if you want to play inside the library, safe. But it's not always that simple. It's not always that easy. It has to be well put together. For some reason, Dez is now at the desk.
Hello, Dez. How you doing? He's just waving.
He's just waving. He's not talking, thankfully. Yonka...
Oh, he's back.
Right, he's
back.
I assume everybody blinked. If someone's in chat saying I didn't blink, A, you're a liar. Or B, go get medical help. Because you shouldn't be able to go that long without blinking. That was like a solid 4 minutes.
So I'm pretty sure Milo should be able to correct me on this, but the blinking mechanism, is actually a way to protect your eyes. So you need to blink.
Why did you say the blinking mechanism?
I'm a robot.
Why didn't you just say blinking? Why did you have to throw in the mechanism part?
Okay, so the lore is that I'm a robot, right?
Yeah.
So
but you haven't been a robot for a while, but I guess now maybe I believe that you are.
I'm just living up to the lore, Fell into a well, got picked back up, back to my true robot self. Haven't had the full reset yet.
Yeah, we'll get you reset. Voi's puzzled at this. Voi doesn't understand.
He's also he's very confused about this.
No, they can't hear us. They're delayed. We'll be back in just a moment. It's the last game. This is getting you guys your packs.
Actually, I think it was Gotcha that said oh, very cool. We could see the timeout of Vitality.
Yeah.
If only we could hear them. And then people are like, it's in French.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's in French.
And then Rise was like,
passionate French.
And Rise responded, we speak in German. I don't know what you're talking about. Same will be the case here, of course, with Heroic. Not so much with G2. Pretty sure that would be in English. Unless they all find another common language they speak.
I tried to think of a funny language there, but...
Simlish.
That is just the Netherlands.
Can confirm.
It sounds similar. Hey, we're back in the game. We're back in the game. Master bedroom and office.
Yeah.
As we find ourselves heading to the top floor, obviously, because of when the crash happened, because of the rehost that was called. They have to pick the same operators, have to pick the same site. They have to approach, not in the same way, that they can tweak, but everything else, everything that is a choice made has to be remade the same way.
Well, technically, approaching this side is also a choice you make.
Yeah. But
I know what you mean, don't worry. Anything that would impact the round too big.
How many operators have helicopters? 3 operators.
How many? What?
There's
what does this come from out of nowhere?
Because that's how they're going to approach. Obviously, Thunderbird has a helicopter.
Yeah.
And then Thatcher slides down from a helicopter as that's Maverick.
True.
You assume Maverick's on a helicopter. It's just a big pipe. Could be a crane, actually. He just comes down on a crane on a big pipe.
Could be too. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Nomad, I would assume, knows how to fly a helicopter. I'm not sure if she owns one.
Well, I don't think they own it.
Also, I don't think you can fly with 2 or 3 fingers.
Hey, it would be difficult. There's the setup. There's the prep. And we're going to go into the round now as we find ourselves finally finding a bit of boots on the ground and a bit of pace to be applied here. The Thatcher might be a bit of a consistent here, because if you think about how...
I was actually going to break that down, but we just completely derailed.
Yeah, I mean, break it down. Give it to me.
I was just going to say, those power positions we saw at the top of the stairs, that's literally what the entire hold revolves around. Being able to hold that out for a minute, minute and a half, maybe even 2 minutes. And then G2's like, we got Thatcher. Let's just toss in the... And everything is gone. The entire hold just collapses right afterwards. And that's what allowed him to pick up these kills quickly. So let's see how the Thatcher is coming in. It's an operator that does get banned quite a lot. So having it available is definitely a big up for the attack.
It's definitely one of those things as well where obviously Heroic led in with the Twitch ban. They took out Twitch first of all. It puts G2 in that moral dilemma of we could do a lot with the Thatcher, and we hope that we can do a little bit more, because if we can put a big distance in,
Good shot.
with some great holds and great takes such as that, as Kayak is able to catch them on the bottom of the Solarium stairs on the attempt on the rotate, well, that gives them momentum to carry them onto their defense, because they know that they're going to be facing a Thatcher as well. They know they're going to be facing those sort of tough breaks on their holds. This site, not as sort of dedicated, but if you're looking towards potentially the bathroom, or you're looking towards that swing on the Solarium, well, maybe it played a role in how they forced them out as the grenades start to head their way through.
Actually, very cheap kill that was. A singular grenade and a singular flashbang were eventually necessary to get the kill down there as the ACS swell starts ripping down. Blaz, however, taken down by Junka. And as Void quickly checks the Evil Eyes, he realizes he can get a couple of sprays down onto Hungry. There's absolutely no clue where that Evil Eyes plays. He's quite low. Just a couple zaps left and he would be losing his life. However, it is a bit of a rotate to come around from Heroic. Thunder waiting at the bottom of the Solarium stairs as Citizen gives away the game right here, knows or lets them know that he is currently watching. Do not try to go for a bit of a flank, and as the Gemini gets shot out, he now knows someone is down here as well.
That's it, and we saw another player playing underneath, but Shukri's actually found his way back around to offer some support here because they're in a bit of a dicey situation. However, 30 seconds. If they can stack themselves up around and get the fight, it might work together. Hungry gets the first. With a sliver of health, he's still able to take the fight against Voy and finally get some revenge for the zaps he suffered slightly earlier. Shukri heads towards the swing out on the balcony, but barely gets there before he finds the fight against Kayak. No! Dropped. Yonka was the one that got the kill and got the take. Kayak couldn't quite land it, but didn't need to in the end as Yonka locked it off, and now around the back stairs, Thunder sees if he can try and just bite at the heels of the planter. However, they're far away, tucked in the corner, and they don't get close as Virtue locks it off.
Very well played here, and this is the second round actually where G2 leave it to the very final 20-30 seconds before they really hit the site. Yes, they take care of most of the players. It's only 2 or 3 left in both these situations, but then they take their time. They make sure they get the right angles and they start moving in. But with, those 20-30 seconds left, that is when time starts to tick. That's often when some teams start to panic. They need to make stuff happen. But they stayed calm here. They kept their angles, whereas Heroic went on for a bit of a hunt. They knew where the diffuser carrier was going to be coming from, tried to take him out, but lost their extra members on the way, allowing G2 to go for a plant at that very final few seconds.
2 in a row. G2, they've built themselves a good bit of momentum either side of obviously the rehost that they had to call for the disconnect player, and Heroic, they found themselves a bit slow. But as we sort of talked about and highlighted, the Thatcher on the board for this is going to make the attack presence that bit easier, because what Chalet sort of developed for a lot of these sites is these power positions, is bathroom, is the top of the blue stairs, is these sort of tricky angles and tricky corners to break their way through on, and it just makes a lot of that utility burn a much easier game. Don't be surprised if we see an even more attacker-sided Chalet than we usually do, even though these two teams haven't had the best attacker record recently.
Yeah, definitely something we've talked about with G2 lately. But this so far, the attack seems to be quite on point. It seems nice, cool, calm, collected. Like, it seems like they're in total control. And even though it comes down in the final 20 seconds, you do not feel any panic. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like they are still going to have that round under control, because the diffuser slowly starts to move in, the crossfires are there. Of course, it did come quite close there, with Shukri almost being able to pick up Junka in that last round, but it does overall feel quite controlled by G2.
Well, now as they're sort of fishing for the possibility of a body of Heroic, they're trying to go for a different take and a different clear here. They want to draw a different focus and focal bout of attention as they spread themselves a bit wider. Kayak's been able to slip his way towards the big open fireplace room, and with Virtue steadying himself underneath, he's actually going to rotate round, go back and double down somewhere else. They've got the clear and the control of this half that they want, and Heroic aren't interested in trying to keep onto it, trying to offer a bit of a fight back. It's a minute gone so far, and they've at least been able to do some work in terms of potentially controlling a future lurk or roam. However, it's going to be the start now as they eye up box and the pressure they can apply on the top.
Hungry opening up that window is going to allow Shukri to try and challenge. A bit of damage done towards Hungry, but it's going to be enough to force him out. Scarnes will be coming in, and that will make sure that at least an opening will be there on that top floor into the box. It's not the direct site. It's not their main priority. They still need to go down, and that is why they don't use other Scaros. It's just to put up a little bit of pressure now to allow the main force later to start moving in, because as soon as you have that control, that is when you can start moving in even further. That's an ADS as well. 2 ADSs actually catching off some flashbangs here. It's just Shukri left on that top floor. It's a minute left on the clock, and this time no fallen like people on the side of Heroic.
So Hungry got the barb, didn't quite get the shield if they were aiming for that as well, but now they've got a bit of a focus to pay here. 2 bodies still around the top on the backside of the bathroom, and Hungry's just going to keep himself pushing along the side. Did not see the body, but saw the gun barrel as Yonka goes down in the meantime in a frost mat by the piano, sitting and waiting and watching. However, there's nobody from Heroic in a position to capitalize. Kayak in the meantime strikes like the sun on the back of Solarium. They slip on by 30 seconds, and now we've got to see if they can actually start their approach towards the site as well. Heroic have done a heroic job making sure that they keep enough of the time wasted, enough of the time pushed all the way to the end, and all the work that G2 needs to do on the top has to happen quite sharpish. 10 seconds, and they've finally been able to find a couple more fights as Virtue goes down yet again. Now, can they actually build themselves towards the site? 5 seconds and 4 as we see another body fall. It's a 4 versus 1, but they can't connect. Heroic lock it off.
Unironically, it was Citizen who managed to lose the one gunfight that would have been enough to lock it off. It was the last member, Blas, to come up from blue. Managed to win the gunfight on Citizen, and the rest of G2 was not in range to quickly enough put that diffuser down on the ground or manage to get that final kill. Heroic, as you just said, is going to be able to pick up that first round as well on their side. And now Bar Gaming, again, to be brought out. The issue we saw here last time around was they put a lot of pressure, a lot of emphasis down onto the top of the library stairs, and of course the chimney as well, as the 2 main power positions there are on this map for this hold. However, G2 found an easy way around it. Just single EMP tossed up next to the window, followed up by a grenade to get rid of the shield, suddenly forced Heroic to fall back into secondary positions, which were being watched and quickly dealt with by G2. That forced them to play a 2-on-5 situation. Of course, 30 seconds left in the end, just like we've seen basically every single round so far. Time seems to be quite an important thing, so if Heroic managed to hold on for just a little bit longer, and with this ADS placement, they just might, because if that grenade bounces in again, that might catch up, catch those grenades, those ADSs, and I think that might be just outside of reach of an EMP.
It's it. It's a clever adaptation. It's a clever way, and it has to be droned out. A drone can get an idea of where things are being put, or, most importantly, can tell that there's not anything immediately close there. However, they're going to start their way somewhere else. Yet again, a steady attack and take here. There is a body in blue. That's the difference this time round.
Oh,
and they
double!
fight for a double thunder! And they hear it ringing through their ears as he hits just as heavy as the weather can. Now, he's toying the idea of pulling himself a little bit further up the stairs, goes for a third and tries to pepper, but gets shut down by Yonka, who suffers quite a lot in the fight.
Virtue and Hungry definitely Thunderbirdies now, right after that one. Definitely afraid of the potential SMG-11 that just came through. Able to pick up both those kills. Beautifully played out by him. Of course, it's still the smoke you lose. It's valuable utility that you got rid of, but you managed to take out 2 players instead. It's also a bit of soft breach gone, so 2 grenades as well. Those shields suddenly are a little bit safer, and G2, well, they need to reconvene, try and figure out if they still want to go for a default take or if there's a new plan they would like to approach.
Well, they have an idea on the player that's inside, and Carrix is just going to slightly maneuver and move themselves somewhere else. The Wamai, the longer obviously this goes on, the more powerful he's going to get. On the top of that stair set, more than enough, and 1 still in pocket to burn anything left that can otherwise be thrown their way. They still do have the Thatcher, but we've still got to remember that they're playing in a slightly different angle and setup. Citizen's been able to sneak and snake his way through closer towards the side as Yonka is also matching that on the opposite side. Kayak finds the next fight, pops up, drops Shukri, and then goes for a big rotate. Citizen's going to open himself up the rotation now to give himself a cleaner route as Heroic sort of waits with the verticality that they've got.
A minute left on the clock in Heroic. Well, this round seems to be going in the right direction for them, but they cannot be quite complacent yet. G2 still on the board. A lot of damage done to both Kayak and Yonka, but the Citizen is pushing in from the different direction here. Seems like the main force of G2 will be coming down from that basement right into Fireplace, hoping to directly storm into the bar, and that is where Citizen comes in. He needs to get this flank off. He needs to sow some panic on that top floor, and as Kioxis gets Kayak, it's Void that takes a little bit of damage and manages to drop the diffuser in the side. It's just Citizen now in a 1-on-2 situation. Uses a grenade to get rid of the Surya laser gate, but it allows him to continue moving, and as he tanks the damage of the second, has a couple of vertical angles to work with.
Voice pulled himself back to the back line to make sure that they can have the 2 versus 1. The grenade is going to be attempted in a swing. It's a dangerous bounce around the corner. Pre-fires, but can't get the connection he wants. 10 seconds. Yet again, they're out of time. The crossfire was there, and Heroic find themselves their second round in a row. This game is just beginning.
Yeah, it's only just beginning, and well, Thunder with a really big impact there in the early round. The opening came in from Hungary, and it's basically an opening they've been making every single round. He just sledges open that snowmobile garage for a bit of a quick entry, and Thunder this time was around. Managed to pick up the double kill, both him and Virtue. And mind you, there's a lot of the soft breach potential gone from G2. Just at the snip of your fingers in that case. Either way. 2-2. We are all equalized again. And Blast this time will be playing on the smoke. We will be going up to the master bedroom, up to the top floor yet once more. It's also a sign that G2 managed to win once, but just barely again by maybe 5 seconds to spare. And that is something that Heroic, well, previous round I showed they managed to find an adaptation. Of course, we didn't quite see it come into play due to the fact that Thunder just basically shut down the entire attack already before it even started. But let's see if they manage to find something for this site as well to deal with the attacking approach of G2.
That gun goes bang, 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 bang. We talked
Very
about the
loud
audio
bangs.
of that gun before.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so loud.
It is just so loud. In, like, the best way, though.
You cannot put a suppressor on that, can you?
I think if you tried, you would shoot it off. I think the gun
With
audio...
fire suppressors.
Bangs are too powerful for a suppressor. You can just still hear it going off on the side. 2-2. And as we said, it was a good start from G2, but they found themselves slowed. Twice it was a bit of the pressure of the time that came back to bite them, but both those times, they went for their approach all the way from underneath, down by the snowmobile. Just keep hearing the ACS. It will never stop.
You're never going to unhear it now. As soon as you hear it, you're always going to be thinking back about it.
But can they find themselves a little bit more pace? Can they get a little bit of a cleaner entrance, a cleaner landing into Chalet itself?
Now, the way that G2 has been dealing with the Solarium stairs has been quite strong. Just get that grenade in. Now they know someone is actually there. A bit of pressure coming down from the long angle. Kioxis also knows what happened the last time around, so he's playing smart about it. Heading into the bathroom instead of playing, well, next to the, what do we call that? Like the plant closet. What was it?
What?
I don't know. The freaking sorry thing that with the plants in it, like the closet with the plants.
The things Haps say.
I'm trying to figure out what it's called. The plant closet. Oh. What's it? I don't know the word for it now.
I don't even know what they're talking about.
It's top of Solarium.
Top of Solarium?
Yeah, no, on the corner here with the grenade getting tossed. There, the plants in that thing.
Oh, I think every team's got a call for it. And
yeah,
the call right now is let's put pressure on the bathtub. We'll talk about this later. Hungry is trying to find the fight here against Kioxis. He's got himself into a tricky situation, and they're both well aware. It's the problem that is very bulletproof. You've got to force him, because time might become a danger. Yonka gets Shukri on the main door of the bedroom. They're putting the pressure in as they throw themselves down with the drone. The pings are consistent. They're well aware of where each other is, but the only thing that might be able to dismantle Hungry is what Blaz is attempting. Those smoke canisters just are out of range and out of lung of Hungry, who's going to steady and drone himself around the pop. gets locked and dropped, and Chaoxis, he drives close, cannot quite win it out. Hungry is finally able to find that body as they set themselves up for the take. Yonker almost gifted by the hefty backpack of Void, but it doesn't quite connect.
Blaz just waiting around the corner here, is in a very good spot to pick up some kills, but he's the last man standing, give away his position. He's going to be able to pick up one of the kills, hoping to find more, tries to get the shots out, but it's completely surrounded. Yonka is the one who finally gets it in the end here, swings around the back, all the way from the office into the bedroom. And that is going to be G2 to lock off that 5th round. That puts them back in the lead here, 3-on-2. We're heading into round number 6 now. See if they can lock it off with a 4-2 half, or if Heroic is going to get the opportunity to bring it to an even split. That is going to be what they're aiming for, at least. Kitchen. Still don't know what the plant thing is called.
It's just the pot, right?
It's not a pot. No, it's the cabinet with the plants in it.
I think that's just a very over-the-top. Everybody knows a plant person. There are loads of people who know a plant person that will have.
I just want to know what the cabinet is called. Like there must be a name for it.
Cupboard, surely. It's
a cupboard. All right. Well, next time I'll just call it the cupboard. There was an ADS next to it. That was the point I'm trying to make. There's a player that plays on that cabinet, cupboard, closet with the plants in it.
Plant cabinet.
All right. Well, back to dining.
Back to dining.
Which is where Heroic found their first success, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if they can do that again, because back then it took a lot of time for G2 to get that top under control. Now they need to do that again. And then after that, they went downstairs. Now, that is when they started running out of time. They almost managed to, again, drag it across the line. They managed to get some of the kills through, but just not the last. You don't really want it to come down to that. So let's see if G2 has a different point of attacking now. Maybe directly hitting onto the sides and, you know, trying to put someone upstairs afterwards to deal with potential vertical angles that they could suffer from.
That's it. That's the main thing that we sort of have to look into here is it really that Heroic took and won those 2 rounds, or was it that G2 lost those 2 rounds? They were slow-paced. And I think that's something that, I mean, they noticeably cost them as well. They were in a 4 versus 1. And they still lost it because they just ran out of time in terms of getting the diffuser down. They've gone for a slightly different take here. They're not going for the deep dive all the way onto Snowmobile as it did cost them twice in a row. Instead, the pace of the top floor is something that actually plays better to their hand. They're winning most of their gunfights right now. They're getting in with the locks and the control on the loose players. Outside of a swing round from Thunder earlier on, they've generally been ahead of the entry. Can they drive it here from Solarium?
Trying to push into the bathroom here. Quick drone gain coming through. Just to guide Citizen to a potential first frag. They need to get these early kills. The pings are coming through and a grenade is going to be pulled. Last by the shot of a gun sound. ADS will save Shukri's life here, however, goes for a pre-fire and quickly rotates out to the library hallway. Citizen for now will just hold. Shukri actually managing to make his way back into the piano room and just goes out again. He's just not quite sure what he wants to do around this position, and as the drone continues to go on, Blaz might be unspotted here. He will not be. Hungry gets that kill. I thought he was not spotted, but Shukri in a very good position now to potentially deal some damage on Highway.
Well, Hungry finds Chaoxis from above, but it's Void that battles back and gets Virtue. Now, Shukri is just sort of kept on retreating. Void has a bit of the cover. It leaves just Thunder around on the site right now, and that's potentially going to be cooled down because at the minute 10 mark, the pings are starting to come towards Solarium stairs. G2 don't need the full control of the floor, and that's what they're playing on now. They've got just enough. They've cleared up to Piano. They have the verticality that they want for the plant that they need, and they have 2 players at least still watching from above. Thunder goes for a bit of a rotate and a dip, but gets caught by Hungry from those verticalities. The last grenade is going to roll down under the box that reminds you to shave, but it's just still close shaves. They haven't quite been able to connect with either of players. However, Hungry, Citizen and Jonka even are both quite damaged. The diffuser is being attempted, and that is being pinged, and the fight is aggressive and scrappy. They're able to connect it with the floor, and they can't quite get more than that 3 versus nobody as Citizen locks off the double at the end.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter if you lose that gunfight down there in the kitchen as long as you waste the time allowing the diffuser to be put down, which eventually, of course, came through. And G2 lock it off with a 4-2 half. Now it's up to Heroic to go over to the attack themselves and G2 to test out their defenses. You know, it has been quite shaky for them for the last couple of play days. Both the attack and the defense, we have to say. So let's see. The attack was quite proper, I have to say. Came down very often to the very final few seconds, but they managed to stick it. And now we're going over to the defense themselves. They will play the game of time in, themselves. As Heroic is bringing the Thatcher as well. Can only expect it to be used the same way. Power positions, just throw an EMP in. Suddenly the ADSs don't work anymore, and a single grenade is enough to get rid of it. At least you hope so.
Wow, the mantle of Thatcher is in the hands of Thunder, combined with a bit of the pace and explosivity. I still think we're going to see more from Heroic on their attacks than their defense. I think that the current bans lean into that and what Chalet can do, and they can be very good on their attacks. They were quite good at punishing some of the other teams that they've gone up against on this map, and I guess it's just the momentum of G2 right now. Is the 4-2 position, is that going to be enough for them to try and hold on? They've been pretty good in their 1v1s across the board. It's a bit more of a showing from players like Kayak and Hungry, who we haven't seen so much of recently in terms of getting in and getting involved in fights. It's sometimes been a little bit lackluster in their ones. Here, they're showing up, and that is a big thing for G2's possibilities right now.
G2 on their defense. Not seeing the roaming smoke, or not really roaming smoke, but the FMG smoke coming out from Citizens, something we have seen before on this map. For now, he's just playing the P10 Roni. Gunna also is going to receive a bit of a change in the TTS in terms of the recoil. Heard it's not that bad, actually. It just goes straight up a little bit more, So it's good to know.
It's just a lot of angry Crutch players.
Well, I've heard Crutch players saying it's not that bad.
Oh, they're more right.
I think one of them was Compet. Oh, that is going to be the first kill. Blast takes down Hungry. Not quite sure if that was a punch hole that he was looking through or if it was just a good ping from a drone to come through. Either way, it's going to be the first kill in Heroic's side. Let's see if they can also catapult themselves on the back of it to win this round successfully.
Yeah, great strike, great positioning. They're now going to put the pressure towards Junker, who's just going to pull himself slightly further away. As the Arena Gate gets popped open, it gives them more option to try and pop their way around. But there's nothing that is immediately following. They're still waiting for Thunder and Void to recoup and reset themselves up alongside the potential push. They might even be able to reactivate that gate by the time the pressure starts to come around. They're still in a place to swing against this as Hibana is the next. As we said, these pellets are needed elsewhere, so they're just opening up a little bit of a pressure rotation, the possibility to put an angle through onto them, and Thunder waits at first, expecting potentially a swing, but more drones, more intel, more waiting for G2.
Definitely more waiting. Time is in their favor, but an impact will be opening up directly onto the site. Shield, however, gets spotted out. It's the one line of defense that Kayak has right here to look more into the hallway, and as the rest of Heroic is seeming to put up a little bit of push up to the top floor. It's going to be up to Citizen and Ko and Junker to make sure that they are going to be able to hold us off for as long as possible, because we just said time is of the essence here, and the longer they manage to stop Hero from pushing onto this top floor, the better it will be.
They have a Maestro cam looking down towards the default plant spot as well. They have the opening there, just keeping atop of the box. As I said, you need to clear just enough space so you can safely try and get the diffuser down, and Junker is going to do everything he can to hold on to the double door here as the pressure and grenades start to bounce around the corner. They're not quite connecting. Shukri goes for a bit of the split on the balcony itself with Blaz still bouncing the pressure. Junker wanted to go out for a hop out for a second there, but decided against it as Blaz keeps pushing all the way along to the bathroom. There needs to be something that drives Heroic forward. Hopefully behind this Finker and the push of Shukri, they might be able to connect. They don't quite have the angle on anybody, but 10 seconds. They've got to drop down a second story. Thunder finally finds one and hits and connects as they angle themselves towards the kitchen itself. The diffuser still hasn't been collected though, and that's the blow right now. Virtue goes for the fight. Void finally finds it, but cannot get back in the room. Time, that cruel mistress once again strikes.
Once again strikes, and Virtue able to stay hidden up on the top floor inside of the walk-in closet. Just able to just sit down there, wait until the very final moments, and that was when he decided to start coming out, just trying to get these kills. And even if they would have cleared everybody in the bottom floor and they would have planted, it was barely enough time to get yourself into a better position. Chances were pretty big he was going to be able to actually get the kill from the hatch. Of course, didn't really matter as much in the end as it could have. And now is G2 leading 5-2. Heading over to the master bedroom and the office as their secondary site. They basically had a big hold just up there. But it was, of course, for the actual bomb site. It was one floor down. So let's see how much different this site will be.
Well, G2 taking their first and taking it without having to really put themselves in too high pressure. An environment puts all the pressure on Heroic. We talked about the importance of this game, how necessary points were for them to avoid relegation. They are fighting for a year's worth of Siege career, and it's not looking easy. That's the danger right now. That is the trouble. Chaoxis, Voy, a couple of players with huge potential that haven't quite been able to dig themselves into the firefight. As I said, a lot of these ones are going against them, and sure, we're only really getting a fresh taste of the attack, but that sharpness, well, it's currently not in their favor.
It's currently not in their favor indeed. G2, well, they have a lot to play for as well. They want to make it to the EUL finals. They want to make it to the 6th Invitational. And, well, you know, they want to give it everything they got to potentially make it to the major, even if it doesn't seem likely. Heroic, even if they win everything, they could still be ending up in the other relegation spot here. That is just the sad truth of it. They are going to be relegating or playing relegations nonetheless. Either they play it or they instantly get relegated. That's literally what they're playing for at this very moment. So there is a lot of pressure on them. They need to perform now. Otherwise, that dream of staying into EUL this year is over. Confirmed that that's someone still making rotations and angles. And Blast just catches him off. It's a minute into the round. Why?
One of life's big mysteries. But twice Blaz has been able to do that. He's been able to sort of creep his way into that little swing connector towards the dining and get a kill, whether through the wall or around it. It's good intel. It's good droning. And now they've got to see if they can actually try and turn it into a good attack, a good finished execute. Gate popped. Yet again, mirror images of how the approach started before. This time, the difference is G2 have to hold on to this better. The claw.
EMP'd. No, the second EMP came out, so it's not going to be popping up there. Was able to be denied. That one might actually be picked up by some of the EMPs here as by the electric climbing. No, actually, I think they might have destroyed it with the first set of Excaros. So
must have.
Yeah, the second EMP came through to deny that. Then the Excaros destroyed the electric claw, which meant that, you know, they're going to have the opportunity to open it up now. And that is going to be even expanded on right now as Blast playing from below, looking to try and put some damage onto the player that could be behind the mirror window. However, not really the case. And Citizen gets some spots out now. He is on the hunt and manages to put down a little bit of damage onto Blast. He's quite confused as of where it exactly came from and then sees that the default cam was still on. It's a rookie mistake. Citizen, unfortunately for him, wasn't able to pick up the kill, and that means that Blast lives the fight in another minute, really.
Oh, well, another minute, and they've got to pretty much take it. I think if they even just get to OT, they're auto-relegated, and, well, Voy is going to start the drive here. Virtue is the next to go down. The upside-down rappel is picked up by Yonka, who's quickly traded out by Shukri. They're going to see if they can drive the diffuser in as Thunder looks down to the ground and starts to try the stick. Citizen is underneath, but he can't get the angle that he wants. They're not in the default, so instead, he's got to go for the fight just after. The pings are coming through, and, well, it's a 1 versus 4, so he's got to try and fight his way through pretty much the entirety of the team. The first peers over the top. The second tries to meet it, fights through the ragdoll of his teammate, but then realizes it's a 3 versus 1. Don't need to overextend. We have the cover from the library. We find another round.
It's getting quite dangerous there. Citizen able to pick up 2 headshots without really taking any damage. Blast, however, fortunately for Heroic, was on the flank in the library, waiting for him to pass through the hallway. There's just no time in a 1v4 post-plant situation to literally clear out every single room and every single angle. And thus he decided to just go for it. Try and chase the one player. You knew where he was. Just no information on Blaz and his current position. 5-on-3. G2 still in the lead, but Heroic managed to pick up their first attack themselves. Rotation continues, and Bar Gaming is the next site we shall visit. And let's see if we're going to see the same dedication in terms of power positions up on that top floor, which could easily be dealt with a single EMP that is being carried, well, 3 of them by Thunder. We saw how effective it could be in the hands of G2, so let's see how effective Heroic themselves will be with that exact same gadget.
Well, there's only 2 rounds between them right now. Heroic have been able to find their second attack chance, and it came through pretty well. The 2 opening kills were without recompense, and then from that point onwards, it just became a scrappy fight that they ended up clearing enough room to get the diffuser down. Another site, another position and location. We can see the drone work is coming through pretty solidly. As we've cited many times, the hold is hefty up here. Can Thunder be the drive that removes some of the potential of the ADSs? It's a doubling down. They know the game. That's why the Wamaya is also on the board. It's the burn and the weight and the sort of playing around the long firefights alongside the arena gates that make this a troublesome approach.
Laz just holding the window on the library, looking to see if any of the G2 members like to go for a bit of a rotation again, or if they were still doing some setups so he can pick them up freely, because that's something he has been doing over the past 2 rounds. And this time, a bit of a roam. The bottom floor is always creating some opening inside of the snowmobile garage, allowing them to, of course, move through. There's 2 ADSs, 2 reinforcements, I have to say, no ADSs, that have been used on this this wall, just to make sure they don't have free entry in it. And now, 8 Excaris pellets have been used on it. Of the 16, they are carried.
Citizen is going to see if he can hold himself here in this backbone position to offer the support to the other players that are playing around the top of the stairs as well. They are in a complete synergy. One cannot truly exist safely without the other where they are, and the first pressure comes towards the top of the shield. They're burning the ADSs, going for a standard approach on it instead of the Thatcher play that we saw played before, because you don't really know where those are placed, and obviously him being on the board isn't the most common. You have to adapt. The burn on the gate up top as they start their ascent and their aggression towards this back line. They still haven't been able to catch it, but it's just this sort of guessing game is what are they going to push on next? It's Citizen. Chaos on the back line is able to get the opener as he rotates around. He's got it deep from the window, which gets re-barricaded and electrified.
Now, first and second EMP got used. A single kill came through from Heroic so far, and Virtue just hiding inside of the box. The top floor, directly above the site, has been taken into control by Heroic. However, there is still a flanking opportunity, and as Shukri is making his position known and is looking to be pushing in from the office side, it's Virtue that has the opportunity to pick up a free kill, but he whiffs it! Shukri gets it. It was a freebie there for Virtue. And he misses the opportunity, brings it to a 5-on-3 situation here for Heroic. Kayak about to be pushing up from the snowmobile stairs. Spotted an open window, Hungry inside, right behind the bar. It's just 3 G2 members left. There is an opportunity to try and go for a clutch here. You still have the Panther in the full control as Hungry does take quite a lot of damage from the actual double window. But it's going to be Blast that is in a very important position. If he manages to strike, if he manages to sneak in into the bar area, he has the opportunity to shut down anybody playing inside of the pantry.
38 seconds, and they're going to start their approach down to the back line. The grenade does a lot to Yonka, but it's Chaoxis that finds Hungry in the meantime, puts them in a tricky situation as Kayak is isolated, and now he's all that's left. He's going to try and swing his way up the stairs. The first fight is the bottom, but he doesn't get anybody, locked off by Thunder.
Oh, sorry. I know which one you're doing. Thunder.
Da 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 da.
I was like, what? That's not where you go with this. But
I was paused. And we have a technical pause.
See if Yonka again wants to start a staring contest. No, this time he's blinking. Never mind.
That's the check. But 5-4 Heroic. Cannot drop another round.
Yeah, that's it. If you drop another round, you're out. As harsh as it may sound, they need the full-out win here today. G2, of course, themselves, they kind of want to at least get 2 points to put themselves 3 points ahead of Kavana in the overall standings, which is important for the European League finals, where, of course, the top 4 will qualify. Currently, I believe it's 21 points total, Kavana. No, I'm saying that wrong. It's probably 31 points. You know what?
You check.
We've got this beautiful thing called technology. With a Wi-Fi access point, you know. So,
wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't flaunt everything.
It's not even 30. It's 41 points currently for G2. It's 40 points for Kavana. So just 2 points will put 3 points between the two, which is, of course, a bit of a buffer, like a game of a buffer with the final 2 days to come along for that final spot. So Did I hear correct that medics just say this is a G2 timeout? Or is this... I'm quite confused. Medics was whisper.
It's a G2 timeout, but they called it in a strange way.
Okay.
Confusing. And we're just actually repeating what we hear.
We're just repeating
just
what
so
medics are saying, yeah.
Are up to speed. Obviously, it's time for both teams to talk, to be fair. It makes sense. G2 had moments slipping away from them. The dropped opportunity from Virtue, I mean, that should have been his kill. I can only imagine the reaction of Jess.
I'm not going to repeat the word she would be.
Well, I don't think she would on broadcast either.
But yeah, that was it was a difficult situation.
He should. I mean, the bottom line is he should have had the kill. He didn't, and the position that he would have been in if he'd got the kill entirely took out the back line of that attempted push. They would suddenly have to either try and take that fight or
ignore it and maybe
ignore it and dive towards the site, which suddenly turns every other firefight into more of a pressure situation, because then suddenly you've got to win all of them. So that moment could have been the one that could have defined the round, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't. We're still not over yet. G2, they need 2 rounds to win. They only need 1 round for Heroic to not be back next year, I believe. It's just if they get to OT. If they get to OT, can they still...
Believe? No. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, you're the numbers one.
I'm what? Technically, I'm not an analyst anymore.
No, but your color.
That's true.
And
so, 6 points currently between Heroic and Secret. Which is still, you know, if you get a point here today, it's still doable in that sense.
Still doable.
If Secret loses both their games.
There's 6 points more up for play, but Secret have the head-to-head. Right.
Yeah, so I assume so.
All Heroic need to do then, potentially,
is a single point.
Is a single point. So it's not over yet. I was incorrect. Thank you for correcting me. That's your job.
No worries.
Heroic. But you're after more than that. If you get 3 points, suddenly survival becomes much less dependent on wins in max games versus your upcoming opponents, because I don't believe they've got an easy route through. Nice camera drop.
That was a very elaborate way to get rid of the camera. But it worked. I'm not quite sure if there was any other piece of utility potentially placed there, but decided G2 that have been taken care of. That would be pretty worth it if you manage to get it like that. However, I doubt it, considering the way that we're currently set up. By the way, pressure seems to be put down towards the Solarium again. Just a couple of rappels up there, some drones to try and figure out where the players are, and Yonka just rotating in and out of the bathroom. He's being spotted without he even is aware of it.
Yeah, they're able to get the read through the holes in the floor. He was obviously the first that suffered potentially from some explosive that didn't quite fully connect with him, but they still have to deal with him because of the position that he's in, because of the pressure he can put down on the approach from underneath. They're sort of stalled and stemmed right now as they angle themselves up and try and pre-place their drones. They're going to see if they can wrap around on the other side as Yonka actually goes wide, shoots out most of the X-Kairos. Not enough.
Forgot
they're
one.
Still able to open.
Got one of the X-Kairos to come through, and now a new set is being tossed on here. As Heroic is looking to complete their push. It's we've got smoke being tossed out there to try and cover. Well, he tried to go for a peek on Yonka, but Yonka getting the better hand out of it. Flashbangs are being tossed out, a grenade's being tossed in, and actually landed right between the bars and picks up Yonka, who tried to take the fight onto Blaz. The smoke canisters are now being tossed out. A bit of damage will be done to Hungry, who's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here because he's being peeked from the left, he's being peeked from the right. Just a Prisma is trying to give away some of the game as Blast is taking quite a lot of damage in the entirety of Heroic is.
Heroic have dug their way all the way through onto the kitchen. He's hopped around the opposite side, pops up, drops down, traded off with Kayak on the back line with the Alder. That goes Burr. The big grenade doesn't quite get the lock off with Solidity, 10 seconds. And suddenly it's just Citizen at the top, but also it's just Citizen left in a 2 versus 1 versus 1. Finds one more kill and drop the double. Solarium is his.
Able to just pick up that final one. Managed to get the first on the actual site, which was necessary to stop the potential diffuser to go down in a later stage, forcing him to drop and sort of play against that verticality that he managed to use himself. 6-4, G2 are on match points. They have the opportunity to take up the full 3 here. 2 more rounds they have for this occasion. And Master Bedroom in the office is going to be the site they want to do it at next. See the mirror coming out. We see the Thunderbird coming out. Of course, there is still the opportunity for the 6 pick, and it always hurts me when the mirror goes out and it becomes oh my this time around. No, actually mute. Not doubling down on a double grenade. Catching projectiles. Of course, the Thatcher being on the board is an easy way around that. You just get the EMP close and suddenly there's nothing left to stop those grenades from flying in. So instead, going for the mute. Maybe that is more helpful, especially in that roam game. Stop Blast from getting an early entry, especially on the floors below, whilst Hungry is still creating those little lines of sights on the bottom.
So now we've talked about how if Heroic got to OT, they might still survive. If they don't, if these next 2 rounds
I'm going to find the head-to-head
don't go their
right
way,
now.
I believe the head-to-head is in Secret's favor.
I would assume it is, but, you know, maybe we will be surprised. I'm on it in the meantime.
You get on that.
Yeah, I'm on it. All right, so it's Trainhard actually won from Secret 4-7 stage 1.
Stage 1.
So that's 4-7, all right? We
4-7.
got to keep rounds into account. Actually, we don't because...
Or 7 to 4. Stage 2.
Yeah, exactly.
As we find ourselves looking
For the next score. Am I just missing it? A Knights. Ooh, 7-4 for Secret as well.
7-4.
So it was 4-7, 7-4. So literally, stage 3 will decide.
Stage 3 decides, and as you double check that and build the momentum, Kayak is the one that's suffering some of the momentum of his own. Drones from the top and the bottom with Virtue offering a little bit of cover and support, but instead of saying, let's hold on, let's drop back, Blaz is trying to do the game that got him 2 early kills before, but can't quite connect, so heads up the stairs. What is it?
It was the first game they played in Playday 1. It was 8-6 for Secret, so the head-to-head does go to Secret.
2 rounds, Heroic, 2 rounds to keep yourself in the fight for Tier 1, not auto-relegated, and it starts here. The 2-minute mark passes and they begin their approach towards Piano. They're looking to see if they can dig something out as the pressure comes from the top and the bottom. Pre-fires and sprays round every corner just to get a glimpse or a connection, but nothing is being handed to them. Hungry's underneath with the C4 Citizens, the back line. They cannot find that early bite that served them so well.
Is this C4 meant to go through the window all the way through if someone wants to go on a bit of a rappel here? It definitely seems like it. There's no other way you want to use that C4 unless someone is up there. Of course, Hungry also has the opportunity to just quickly rotate down towards the default plant spot and try and get it in from there, but a grenade is being tossed in instead. It's going to be quite long. This gives away the information to Hungry that Blaz is on his way again, and he has been many, many times, and let's see if Hungry this time will be winning out on that engagement.
Chaos is so close to connecting with the loose backline player, which was Citizen. It would have been a huge take, but now we're at the 2-minute mark, and now only one remains, one left to see if they can actually start their approach and start trying to pull these bodies out. The gate falls, and Kayak finds himself blinded behind the piano, pre-firing to every angle possible. It's canisters over the shoulder as Yonker adds a bit of support and sustenance. The sprays are just not connecting fully. Kayak has a bit of health, and all the cover and support. Virtue goes down. Chaoxis and Void get one apiece as they keep a bit of split control over the big window and the piano side. Kayak's still a problem, and Hungry, a bigger one that's dropped instantly. Blaz underneath gets the response and revenge. The backline for Blaz, and now it's Kayak as the only one left trying to dig in. Cannot. One more round, Heroic.
One more round and you keep the dream alive for now. It's by no means that you are in a good position in that one round, but at least it's a fighting position, a position where you have an opportunity to, and you know, there is definitely some tough matches ahead. They are playing against Natus Vincere and against Kavana in the next couple of days. Whereas Secret, well, they play against Vitality and against Virtus Pro. Difference, as mentioned, currently 6 points. They're looking to make that to 5 now. It would be even better if they get the overtime win, bring it back to 4. That certainly is a little bit more doable. Like every point will be so helpful right now for Heroic. Every point but none.
Every point but none. And there is one round that separates them from that. This is their final chance, and it's going to be the same site. G2 are going to set themselves up, potentially not with the double shields. They still have the one to play against Piano, but they don't have, I'm not sure where the second one's gone down, but it hasn't gone down on the Piano. There it is, to offer a bit of a back line towards the box plant site and the long arm possibility of it. There was obviously the single player of Blaz who came up the back stairs and got the double in the approach, so if they're not able to pull that off, they might find that backline a little bit sturdier behind that shield.
Yokai's this time in place. I'm not quite sure how effective it will be in terms of, well, plan denial. Most likely will be used to try and guide your roamers a bit more. People like Virtue or Citizen, if he decides to go on a bit of an adventure, to make sure that they have a bit of an advantage over whichever attacker may be trying to hunt them down first. Seems like Kioxis and Blast are already trying to go on. It's Blast to get a first grenade and Kayak to bring back all the way to 1 HP. Relocates himself into the closet. Now waiting for Citizen, who's actually trying to actively contest that window to potentially pick up the kill. Ooh, that might be very detrimental here. Thunder drops. And that brings it into a 5v4 situation. And I believe as soon as damage is done, there is also no opportunity anymore for a potential rehost.
That not could be worse, so they're going to see if they can drive themselves in. Voy around the back line goes for the potential of the spray. The Gon 6 leading them in, drops the default and tries to find a body, but it's Kayak that finds the first. The spray comes through for Voy. He's looking to put the pressure on the back line, goes for the fight on the second, but has to try and stick it. In the meantime, the cover doesn't connect. It's Citizen, puts them in a 4 versus 2. Shukri and Kaoxis are trying to build themselves, but the spray cannot quite connect over the top. One either side of the 4 remaining players. They're looking for anybody that they can pull out into a tighter aggression. Shukri with the slow creep call towards the Piano swing here. Gets knocked down by Yonka. Kaoxis is all that is left. It's all she wrote. G2 take the points. And they needed them. But heroic.
A very unfortunate moment to lose one of your players in that round. They decided to make up for it. They decided to go for a quick push throughout the back because they knew that was going to be clear from Solarium into the bedroom. But unfortunately, the round didn't stick. And that means that Heroic will be auto-relegated.